Greetings.
Greetings.
That's my line.
That's my line.
We come in peace.
We come in peace.
Cronkite is a weirdo.
Facts.
So, how's your week been?
Pretty good. How's your week been?
Good. We had a great show on Sunday. Beautiful weather on Sunday.
We did.
It was like topped out like 70 degrees.
And monsooning raining the whole time.
Definitely. Let's see.
Check my shirt out. What do you think about that?
I like that. I like that a lot.
Nessie. Bigfoot. UFO.
Yes.
Pretty cool, I think.
And that looks like Kentucky.
Kind of.
If it was flopped around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. You didn't notice that, did you?
I didn't.
So, you're a big UK basketball fan.
I'm not.
Me neither. So, how's this week been going for you?
Pretty decent. Yourself?
It's been going good. Been going real good. Working away on the show. Again, we made the announcement on Facebook last week, and we talked about it on the show Sunday. On Sunday, March 21st, yours truly and him will be premiering on WXLR 104.9 at 10 p.m. for Here to Chew Bubblegum on radio in our area. We'll have 1 hour to talk about stuff from the weird, fascinating, right? What are you doing?
There's one gray spot right here in my beard that's driving me crazy.
You just now noticed that?
Well, I can see it on the camera now.
Okay. Well, you're not supposed to be looking at yourself. Do you see what I have to put up with? Normally in the show, after we have a little chat, we would do news headlines, but
Not anymore.
we're not doing that. Why? Why are we not doing that?
Well, because...
if you've not listened to the show on Sunday, he's going to tell you why we're not doing news headlines.
Well, all right. So, obviously, we do this show in our spare time.
Yes.
And so we...
6 o'clock on Wednesday mornings, we meet here.
Yes. So, our when we do... We have regular jobs.
Yes.
So, it's hard...
At the cookie factory.
Yes. So, it's hard to dedicate as much time that needs to be to the news to get actual good content each week. Plus, I don't know if you guys watch the news, there's not that much UFO stuff in there all the time. So, in a way to stay as relevant as possible and to dedicate more time to other UFO stories and abduction stories and paranormal stories, we are going to continue to do news, but not a news segment, if that makes sense. Do you like that? Got a good answer?
I just hope the fans aren't disappointed. If they are, write to Cronkite and tell him you missed a news segment.
That's Cronkite at HereToChewBubblegum.com.
That's right. We're going to start out this week talking about some secrets of the Titanic. Mm-hmm. And everybody's familiar with the Titanic, the unsinkable ship that actually sank.
Yes.
One of the most famous and deadliest disasters took place on April 15th, 1912 at 2:20 a.m. And it was deemed one of the most luxurious and safest ships ever built. But it hit an iceberg, and guess what?
It sank.
It sank, taking more than 1,500 lives. The ship was the world's largest passenger ship at the time, and it was on its maiden voyage headed from Southampton, England, to New York City. It would take 73 years later for the ship's wreckage to be found by Dr. Robert Ballard and scientist John Louis Michel located the remains of the Titanic on September 1st, 1985. We're going to talk about some secrets of the Titanic. Mm-hmm. American silent film actress Dorothy Gibson was one of approximately 700 survivors of the Titanic collision. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Okay. Now, she was a silent film actress.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Upon arriving in New York unscathed, she immediately began filming Saved from the Titanic. This was the first film to depict the events of the sinking of the Titanic. It was released in May 1912, and a month after the crash. She was famous for wearing the same clothes and shoes in the movie that she'd actually wore during the sinking of the Titanic. What do you think about that? You don't seem fascinated by that.
No, it's not fascinating. It's just like, that's a lot of bad juju on them clothes.
Karma.
Yeah. Why would you want to
I don't know.
wire that. I mean, I understand why,
Yes.
but I don't think I could do that.
I don't think I could either. While the film was successful, it only exists now in our memories. The only known print of the film was destroyed in a fire. So, what do you have there for us about the Titanic?
Well, I believe this is actually a 2-page thing, if that's okay. According to Titanic love stories, there were at least 13 couples celebrating their honeymoons on the ship. Futility, a novella written by American author Morgan Robertson, was published in 1898, 14 years before the Titanic set sail. It centered around the sinking of a fictional ship called the Titan. According to Time, there's an eerie number of similarities between the ship's sinking in Futility and the Titanic in real life. First, the ship's names are just 2 letters off, with Titan versus Titanic. They were also said to be almost the same size, and both sank in April due to an iceberg. Both ships had been described as unsinkable, and sadly, both had just over the legally required amount of lifeboats, which were nowhere near enough. The author was accused of being a psychic, but he explained that the uncanny similarities were simply a product of his extensive knowledge, saying, "I know what I'm writing about. That's all."
Okay. Let's see. Another survivor, Lawrence Beasley, tried to crash the filming of the 1958 film A Night to Remember because he wanted to symbolically go down with the ship. According to IMDb, Beasley was on set of A Night to Remember, which is considered to be the most accurate of all Titanic films. He had allegedly tried to jump into the scene depicting the ship sinking in order to symbolically go down with the ship. Legend has it that director Roy Ward Barker refused, as it would have been a union violation and could have halted filming. Beasley was a survivor from the second class and wrote a memoir about his experience entitled The Loss of the SS Titanic.
A lucky few bought tickets but never boarded the ship, such as Milton Hershey, J.P. Morgan, and
That's Marconi.
Marconi.
The guy that invented the radio.
Alrighty. Days after the ship went down, newspapers began compiling lists of people who had bought tickets but never boarded the Titanic. They call it the Just Missed It Club. That's kind of messed up.
Yeah, it is. Well, this was 1912, too.
Those that narrowly escaped disaster, including Milton Hershey, who decided to take an earlier ship home with his wife, J. Pierpont Morgan, founder of General Electric and U.S. Steel, who ended up staying at a French spa, and Marconi, an inventor, who also caught an earlier ship.
Let's see. A woman who survived the Titanic sinking would later survive the sinking of another ship, the Britannica. Depending on how you look at it, stewardess and nurse Violet Jessup is the luckiest or unluckiest woman alive. She survived the sinking of both the Titanic and the Britannica. Jessup was just 25 when she survived the sinking of the Titanic and was instructed to get into a lifeboat while the ship was going down to show women that the boats were safe. Undeterred by this tragedy, Jessup began working on the Britannica, dubbed the Titanic II by the media, until it came across a mine that had been placed by a German U-boat in 1916. This ship also sank. Jessup escaped once again, but this time with a serious injury that would affect her whole life.
Oh, wow.
Can you just imagine being on a ship and it's sinking and you survive not one, but 2 sinkings?
She should have bought a lottery ticket.
She had somebody watching over her, and she had a reason to be here.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So the ship was carrying 15,000 bottles of beer, 1,000 bottles of wine, 850 bottles of liquor, and 8,000 cigars. In addition to all the alcohol and tobacco, there were 75,000 pounds of fresh meat, 7,500 pounds of bacon, 36,000 oranges, 1,000 loaves of bread, and 40,000 fresh eggs on board. I could go through 7,500 pounds of bacon.
That's making me hungry.
I can go through 7,500 pounds of bacon.
Let's see, our last secret of the Titanic. The richest man on the ship was John Jacob Astor IV, who was widely believed to have been the richest man in the world at the time of his death. Astor was not just the richest man on the Titanic, but widely believed the richest man in the world. At the time of his death, he was worth an estimated $150 million or $3.5 billion in today's money. Astor was returning home from a months-long honeymoon. The extended honeymoon was actually a way to escape society's gossip. Astor had just been divorced within 2 years of his new marriage, which was relatively unheard of back then. Astor's body was one of the few that was recovered in the Atlantic Ocean after the ship went down. Among other possessions, they found $2,440 in his pocket. That was equivalent to $60,000 in today's.
Wow.
What do you think about that? Is that something you've researched a lot, the Titanic, to know facts and stuff like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, yes and no. But also, there is also a conspiracy theory that surrounds the Titanic.
Yes.
About, I guess there was a fire on the original Titanic, and then the White Star Line changed the names of the ships. I'll have to research that.
And have you also heard that there was I think there was an Egyptian mummy that was supposedly cursed that was also in the cargo area of the Titanic?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. I've read that somewhere. I can't tell you where, but I've not. But that is what I read one time. Moving on to midweek moment questions. Aaron says, "Hey, midweek moment. Last week's show had me in stitches. The questions that you asked Cronkite were funny. TMI on the last question, Roswell."
Listen, you ask the questions, I tell the truth.
I didn't say you to say ants were in you.
I had another story, too. There was poison ivy was involved.
Okay, let's go
on. Patrick says, this might be the wrong show to ask, but on last Sunday's show, you mentioned Starlink Internet. Do you think once it's set up that it will offer high-speed downloads and uploads? I'm not up on technology and wanted to get you guys' opinion. I think so. Well, I mean, that's what they said it's going to do, is that you'll be able to have high-speed internet anywhere on the planet for cheaper.
But it costs $500 to get started.
That's right now with the beta program. But you're going to have to pay you're going to pay the cost of the equipment anyway. It doesn't matter what you do. But that's right now because it's not mainstream. You can try it now, but you have to pay $500 for the equipment. But it's going to be cheaper, supposedly.
There you go, Patrick. Thank you. Dixon09 always writes in, has some good questions. Hey, guys, I enjoyed the show last week. Have you ever thought about doing an ongoing series the way you do The Truth Is Out There? If so, I would recommend something along Unsolved Mysteries or Bigfoot. I know those two don't go together, but they're my two favorite subjects behind UFO. Basically, what Dixon is saying is how we do the Truth Is Out There series on the Sunday show. Mm-hmm. He would like to see us do something on the YouTube show. That is a great idea. We have to come up with a name for something. Mm-hmm. Cronkite's Chronicles could be good.
Mm-mm.
Why?
Because we already have Elliot's articles. That's stupid.
Yeah, on the Sunday show, but Cronkite's Chronicles on the midweek show would be good.
Can't do it.
You were all for it earlier on Sunday's show.
Well, yeah, but then you yelled at me, so we can't do that.
Oh, okay. What does your email say?
Midweek Moment fan says, Goose, Cronkite, Elliot, and Ned. I don't know if this has been asked before, but what's a show that you binge watch? Roswell, Dexter.
I would have binge watched that, but I watched it when it was on the show week by week. It would have been so much better to binge watch it. What did you think about the final episode?
I didn't like it, but
I didn't either.
But they are filming right now.
Supposedly.
Well,
are they actually filming?
They're filming right now.
Okay.
I guess a series wrap up.
Okay.
One season series wrap up. I think.
Well, and if you even watched the final episode, if you were a fan, he even said, like, in the first couple of episodes, if he ever got caught, he guessed he would be a lumberjack somewhere.
Yeah.
So, it does tie together. One that I binge watch, probably The Boys on Amazon Prime. You saw that? That's the you've never saw
That's
that?
That's the superhero.
The superheroes.
Yeah. My dad watches it, but I've never watched it.
Excellent show. If you ever get a chance, watch The Boys on Amazon Prime.
All right. Randy says, do you think the world will ever get back to normal? I wear a mask to be respectful of other people's beliefs. I miss the pre-COVID world. Here to chew bubblegum in midweek moment. Keep me entertained. Thank you.
Me too. I miss the pre-COVID world. I also wear a mask to respect other people.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think it will get back to normal? Is that what his question was?
It says, do you think the world will ever get back to normal?
Yes. What about you?
Eventually.
You wear a mask?
I do.
But then when you wear a mask, you disappoint everybody from seeing all this.
I know.
Does that not make you sad?
It makes me sad for them.
Okay. Arlo says, hey, Goose and Cronkite, if you're in the Ohio area, the Round Town UFO Society is an organization founded in 1989 and dedicated to the pursuit of the truth. We meet once a month in Circleville, Ohio. Please feel free to stop by or have listeners stop by in our area and join us, Roswell.
Very cool.
Thank you very much, Arlo.
Very cool. Thanks for the invite. DD says, I recently found you guys on YouTube. Love the shows.
Stay after my laboratory. Do what now?
You see what I deal with.
DD, I recently found you guys on YouTube. Love the show, Roswell. Thank you very much, DD. My last one is from Bobby. Hey, midweek moment. We need more segments of getting to know Cronkite. Well, stick around. I've never laughed so hard. Love the show, guys. Ear candy craving satisfied.
Sean says, after watching last week's episode, I thought of a sequel to James and the Giant Peach, Cronkite and the Anthill. Facts. That was.
Is that really?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Okay. Go ahead with your last one.
Mike says, hey, midweek moment, keep searching for the truth and you will find it. It is out there.
Now, on last week's midweek moment, we did have a section where we asked Cronkite some questions. We've got a few more questions this week. And we also have a quiz.
This is stupid.
If you're familiar with the show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
This is stupid.
We have some questions we have a quiz after we ask the questions. And we'll test Cronkite's knowledge and see if he's smarter than a fifth grader.
Just to be clear, this is stupid.
No, it's not.
This is stupid.
What food have you never eaten but would really like to try?
I've ate all the food.
There's not one particular food you've never eaten.
Mm-hmm.
So you've ate all the food.
All of the food.
Okay.
I've tried it all.
What's something you really resent paying for?
Gas. It's so expensive, but I like driving.
What would a world populated by clones of you be like? Hell.
It'd be pretty bad, I think. I mean,
so you agree with me? It would be hell.
Yeah, because there would be it would just be emotionally damaged.
What are you currently worried about right now?
Right now, well, there's a lot, but gas prices.
What are some red flags to watch out for in daily life?
If you see Crazy Amy anywhere, got to move on.
What inanimate object would be most annoying if it played loud, upbeat music while being used?
A lamp.
A lamp?
Yeah.
What about, and I honestly thought that you would say a toilet.
No, it does make loud, upbeat noises when I use it.
Oh, okay. So you go with the lamp.
Yeah.
What is the most epic way you've seen someone quit or be fired from a job?
That I've seen personally.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone quit or like been in the room when they quit. Like
Okay.
I don't.
Well, what would you consider? Like if you've ever thought about, man, I wonder how that person would quit. What would you imagine in your head?
I seen a video once
Mm-hmm.
of an employee, a Walmart employee, I think, that got on the intercom system and told a bunch of dirty secrets that was going on at the store and then quit. I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, okay. What's the best or worst practical joke that you ever played on someone or that was played on you? That's a two-part.
So this is why you have to give me the questions beforehand.
No.
Well, I have to think. This is not stuff that I have just sitting in my mind ready to go. Practical joke.
You want to come back to that one?
Yeah, because I have no idea.
What food is delicious but a pain in the ass to eat?
Chinese food.
Tacos.
That's why I get the soft shell.
Well, you get the soft shell, put one on a plate, and eat it over it. And when you get done, you got another taco.
That's
there.
right. That's true.
So,
That's very true.
Should kidneys be able to be bought or sold on the black market?
No.
Why?
I think kidneys should be able to be bought and sold, but on the black market, no.
Okay. Now, that one question about the practical joke, do you want to pass on it for this week and go on to the quiz?
Yeah, because I mean
Okay.
that's a very random question. I would
Okay.
have to really think
All
about
right.
that.
Now, this is a quiz.
Okay. Do I need a
These
pen?
questions were taken. No, you don't need a pen. These questions were taken off. Are you smarter than a fifth grader?
So I need a pen.
No.
Scratch
What
paper.
gas does humans need to breathe in order to live?
Oxygen.
Correct.
Okay. You
What?
acted surprised that I would know that.
No.
Methane.
What country has the longest border with the United States?
Canada.
Correct. Who invented the light bulb?
Franklin.
Eh.
Who is it?
Thomas Edison.
Ah, yeah, that guy.
Who invented bifocals?
Thomas Edison.
Benjamin Franklin.
I knew there was something there.
Longest river in the world?
The Nile.
Correct. Hardest mineral in the world?
Quartz.
Diamond.
Mm.
Who was the president after Jimmy Carter?
Ronald Reagan.
Who was the president before Jimmy Carter?
Nixon. Is that right?
Gerald Ford.
Gerald Ford. Yeah, that guy.
Who was the president after Reagan?
Bush.
Who was the president after Bush?
Clinton.
Who was the president after Clinton?
Bush.
Who was the president after Bush?
Obama.
Who was the president after Obama?
Trump.
Who was the president after Trump?
Biden.
It only had like 3 questions.
Oh.
With the president, I was just
gotcha.
asking the others. Who wrote the Declaration of Independence?
Well, there was like 10 of them. But
Well, who was the main?
Thomas Jefferson.
Correct. And the last, are you smarter than a fifth grader question? Who stole the Declaration of Independence?
Nicolas Cage.
Bonus points. Do you know his character's name in that movie?
I do not.
Okay. Well, you suck.
No, I only missed 2. And I only got them confused because back around.
You actually missed the diamond, too.
Oh, yeah, that is right.
You said quartz. So
That is true. So I got 70.
again, that's our
70%.
getting 70's good.
That's passing. C's
70's good.
get degrees, son.
So, there you go. Again, that's our segment, Getting to Know Cronkite. How'd you like that?
I don't like it.
Do you want me to bring some 7th grade questions next week?
No, I don't think you should do any of that.
Why?
Because I think it's dumb.
Well, you said you were going to bring me some, and yet you've not.
Yeah,
Bring them on, brother.
I haven't thought yet.
Bring them on. Our question of the week this week. What is one conspiracy theory that you do not believe? Correct?
That's correct.
All right. How can they contact us with our question of the week responses?
Well, you can always call, text, or leave a voicemail calling us at 606-373-3396. You can also even email Goose at heretochewbubblegum.com. Myself, Cronkite, heretochewbubblegum.com. You can also email Ned or Elliot, heretochewbubblegum at yahoo.com. In the subject line, please put attention Ned or Elliot, depending on who you want to speak with. Yep. We have a Facebook page. You can also reach us there.
Yes. That'll do it for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Until the next week, we will see you then. Correct?
We will see you then. Correct.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. Tune in next time as we dive deeper into things the government doesn't want us to know.